Vegas and Parkdale. Correction, Waterman and Parkdale.
Just to be advised, contact with the city. We've had evacuation is now moved down to 40th, everything north of 40th between the same two streets.
Fire isn't listening. It doesn't feel our pain. It doesn't care. It really, really doesn't care. So says Stephen Pine, life science professor at Arizona State University and an expert on wildfire. Pine says that fire understands a language of wind, drought, woods, grass, brush, and terrain, and it will ignore anything stated otherwise. It will burn, oblivious to congressional resolutions, presidential initiatives, court injunctions, or federal and state agency programs. Fire, he says, simply isn't listening. And we aren't either. We declared war on fire in 1910 when the big fire called the Big Blow-Up raged through huge swaths of our forest in Washington, Idaho, and Montana, destroying 5 million acres and killing 87 people. 78 of those people were firefighters. We vowed that this would never happen again, and for the next 60 years, we dulled wildfire's roar, treating it as an unnecessary, dangerous, and destructive enemy. We fought and suppressed and banished it from our forests and wildlands, while we harnessed it to drive our industrialization, powering our cars, cooking our food, and quietly working in our basements to heat and cool our homes. We became more and more confident in our ability to control and suppress fire, and as our cities became denser, we began moving our suburban communities onto abandoned farmland and into the forest. But unlike the farmers and ranchers before us, we didn't come to live off the land, simply on it. We combined the urban with the wild and created a mixture that Stephen Pine calls a kind of environmental nitroglycerin that when shaken by drought, wind, and spark, explodes. There were those in the fire community who saw the dangers and tried to warn us about living too close to the wild. They told us we hadn't suppressed fire, only delayed the inevitable. They argued that we should work with fire to burn the stockpiles of forest fuels and kill the beetles that were devouring our trees. But we'd settled into our rural enclaves and we weren't listening. Then came the deafening roar of the firestorms that heralded the new millennium. The Hayman Fire in Colorado, the Rodeo Chedisky in Arizona, and the Serra Grande in New Mexico. Instead of the low-intensity fires that stayed on the ground and burned selectively, these were firestorms, like the South Canyon Fire in 1994 that blew up and killed 14 firefighters. These fires are burning at extreme temperatures, scalding the earth, sterilizing the soil, and killing everything in their paths. Tony Chang of the Colorado Forest Restoration Institute says that nearly half of the Hayman Fire burned with such intensity that it killed every tree in its wake. He says it may be centuries before some parts of the Hayman will see trees again. Destructive fires like the Hayman aren't going away. They're intensifying. In the summer of 2012, the Waldo Canyon Fire became the most destructive in Colorado history when it roared through a Colorado Springs subdivision, killing 2 people and destroying 350 homes. So while we spend our summers trying to manage an expanding and intensifying fire season, there are 190 million acres of forest and wildland that need our attention. But we continue to argue about the best way to address the problem and who will pay for it. Meanwhile, our forests grow denser and drier, and our houses creep deeper into the woods. One thing is for certain, though. Fire isn't listening.
Yeah, we're at mandatory evacuation for all of the valley as of right now.
At 10-4. That's what I thought was going to happen. Thanks.
All you listening to the Big Bear Scanner, I appreciate all your support and everything like that. We are evacuating the command post up here in Big Bear, Balder Lake area. Thank you all for your support. I'm sorry the scanner is leaving as of now. We're bailing out of here.